Hello, everyone, and welcome to today's session. I hope everybody's doing well today. First and foremost, I want to thank you all for taking the time and being here with us today. We are going to present in conjunction with HEUG, Higher Education User Group, the topic Lower Cost and Improved Payroll by January 2021 with Oracle HCM Payroll. And we will showcase a successful implementation at Northwest Mississippi Community College. Before we start, just a little bit of a housekeeping here. And if you have any question during the presentation, please go ahead and type them up into the question box in your GoToWebinar control panel located on your right side. And we will cover all that questions at the end of the session. A little bit of introduction of myself. I am Melody Benabu. I will be the moderator here today. And I have been with the technology solution sales here for over 20 plus years. And I have worked with all industries verticals nationwide. And a little bit about NexInfo. Next slide, please. For some of you who does not know NexInfo, just a little bit of summary here. We are a successful business consulting firm and an implementation partner. The key differentiator is that we blend the business process and software consulting automation services. As you can see on the domain side, we are strong in the ERP, HCM, student cloud space, have also implemented PeopleSoft Campus solution and serving the Education Institute for decades. We are also, as you can see, recognized by many different sales organizations, and I'm just gonna list down the last one, which is from the CIO review as the 10 most promising ERP consulting service companies in 2019. We are headquartered here in Orange County, and strong presence across the US and operations across Europe and India. From an industry standpoint, experience standpoint, as you can see, we provide our consulting and implementation expertise all across different verticals with a strong experience in the higher education space, as you can see there. And just to name a few of our clients, you can see Northwest Mississippi and Corinthian College, Rice University, Bryant and Stratton, and many others from different industry, of course. We also, just to tap in our other commitments to the community here, we are also strong sponsor of different Oracle forums such as the HEUG, OATUG, some of you familiar with Oracle Application Technology User Group. And we are also actively providing different education sessions pretty much every month in the academic space. And most current ones that we just conducted is with USC and Pepperdine University. So for the audience, please do keep an eye on our upcoming higher ed, education, and other different topics here in the rest of 2020. Now, without further ado, I'd like to introduce to you our main presenter today, which is Mohan Kavlin. Mohan, take it away.
Thank you, Melody. Thank you, Melody. I hope everyone can hear me. If you're not able to, please raise your hand or something like that. So my name is Mohan Kavle. I'm one of the principals at NexInfo, and I have worked the last 25 odd years on technology solutions, first at Microsoft, and the last little over 15 years on Oracle-based technologies, delivering ERP-based solutions, ERP solutions in both ERP, HCM space, as well as in the supply chain space. And depending on the project, I serve as either a solution architect or a overall delivery head for the project. So this is the agenda. What I'd like to do today is thank you for, first of all, I want to thank each and every one of you for joining this presentation. joining this webinar in your busy schedule. Hopefully, I can bring you some good value that you can take back to your organization and look at it and apply it to see how you can improve things within your organizations. And hopefully, this brings you a greater understanding of Oracle HCM Payroll. That's the goal. The title of the webinar is Lower Costs and Improve Payroll with Oracle HCM Payroll Cloud. So this is the agenda. We've covered the NexInfo introduction. What I'd like to do is, first of all, cover what are some of the major challenges, payroll challenges that organizations face, and give you a little bit of background on Oracle HCM Payroll. And that will be very brief, and then very quickly dive into a overall case study of the implementation that we did of Oracle Payroll at Northwest Mississippi Community College. And over there, I'll cover, what is the overall profile, what is some of the complexities, and what is the methodology we followed, and what is the timeline that in which we delivered the overall solution. So this is a little bit about Northwest Community College, the client where we executed the project and delivered Oracle Payroll Cloud. The college itself is located within Mississippi, and it has about 6 campuses, 8,000 plus students, approximately 1,000 staff supporting those 8,000 plus students. And that staff includes both permanent staff as well as adjunct faculty, and it includes both a traditional and program as well as an e-learning program, and technical and non-technical programs. And one of the characteristics that we found is that it has a pretty lean IT staff, very typical of the organizations that we have been working with of late. And they were running at the time when we started the implementation, they were running legacy systems, 10 plus year old systems, which they were looking to revamp, and they chose Oracle overall as the solution, and for both their ERP as well as for their HCM. And in HCM, they chose both the core HR as well as the payroll and the time and labor and absence management and recruiting. All of their HR processes are being implemented using Oracle HCM Cloud. So if you look at the overall challenges that payroll organizations face, right? One is, the changing business landscape. In the changing business landscape, there are essentially 2 things. One is on the supply side, and another is on the demand side, which means that, on the supply side, organizations are expanding into different regions in order to source things. In terms of higher ed, typically it tends to be a single state up to now, or a couple of states in which that it is operating in. But then what happens is, with all the remote work, etc., there's a lot of staff that you could have potentially working in remote locations, and you have the opportunity to essentially hire people in any state, not just within your own state. And the second is, of course, mergers and acquisitions and things like that, and integrations of colleges as well. The other piece is the changing practices. Every organization wants to improve their practice. Management within the organization wants to improve their practices and keep up with the latest best practices. And sometimes it's situational as well. One thing that we have found is that a lot of HR organizations within our clients have been stretched significantly because of the COVID crisis. And they have a lot more effort that they need to put in order to respond. Of course, you may all be aware, Oracle, for those people who have a existing license of Oracle HCM Cloud, Oracle has graciously offered the health and safety module free until the point in time where the COVID is declared to be not a pandemic. So that's just a wonderful thing. But then what my point here is that the amount of effort for HR organizations has increased with COVID, and it continuously keeps increasing in number of processes and practices that they need to follow, regulatory and otherwise as well. So it's a challenge, and they need to keep up with it. Then the last is, of course, the changing technology. Northwest Community College itself used an age-old system with no mobile access, etc. And people today, in today's day and date, they want a complete online solution, cloud-based access, as well as a mobile solution. So if you look at some of the payroll challenges that are there going forward, one challenge, of course, is that they're using antiquated infrastructure. They're using 10-year-old technology to run their payroll, and some of these technologies or things are very standalone and disparate systems. So what that means is that things like tax calculations, it is not. It is left to the organization, and there's no expertise coming into it. And I'll go over that a little bit later on. But that's the antiquated infrastructure is essentially leaving them significantly handicapped. Second is fragmented payroll models. Because of the antiquated infrastructure, what they have chosen is, in order to support the different tax and compliance regulations, they have chosen piecemeal solutions in order to support it. So, and now you have to integrate all of them, roll them up, or run them separately, and then aggregate the data up. And then total cost of ownership remains a challenge because of these solutions are not, they're fragmented, they're antiquated, they don't support streamlined processes. So there's a lot more additional manual effort that is required, manual effort in terms of, maintaining tax tables, for example, for all of the different states and federal, etc. They have to do it manually. Of course, they do it in conjunction with the vendor, but still that's an effort. And second is, because they don't support streamlined processes, workflows, etc., there's additional manual effort. There's also lots of opportunity to miss out on things. And sometimes if it is disparate, like for example, they have HR system as separate and they're using an outsourced vendor for their payroll, then the two data models and data footprints are different. It's a continuous challenge to keep them in sync. For example, new employee comes in, you need to add him to both places. Employee terminates or his hours change from part-time to full-time, full-time to part-time. Again, you need to be able to do that, right? And of course, higher ed has additional challenges as well with grants that support employees continuously change, and which means that your overall integration with finance has to be maintained to that extent, and having a system that is again disparate from your financial system also becomes a challenge. And then there's of course complex compliance and regulatory challenges that organizations need to meet. So ideally, if you see the whole payroll flow, right? I've put a slide together of the payroll flow itself. And that's basically, you start with the preparation, that's in the green over there, and then you go into the calculations, And then from there, you go into costing and view the results. And once you're satisfied with the results, you need to be able to disperse it. And these three pieces where you're actually able to view the results before you actually disperse it is something, that Oracle provides, and a lot of the antiquated systems do not provide that. And then you need to be able to disperse it, and you also need to be able to integrate with accounting, and you also need to be able to provide the payslips in both online and mobile format with self-service. So Oracle HCM Cloud, along with Oracle ERP, because financial integration is very important, and payroll, together provides an all-in-one solution to meet the challenges of these organizations, right? And so you have with Oracle HCM Cloud, you have payroll, you have time and labor, where your employees can clock in and clock out, especially if you have a lot of hourly employees. Those people can clock in and clock out with time and labor using a mobile device, for example. And with geofencing, that mobile device, we can ensure that clock in and clock out can be done only from within the university campus. And a lot of universities do have mobile, as we have seen with our customers, they do have, hourly employees. And then also it has a compensation. Oracle HR also has the compensation module, recruiting module, and performance management, learning as well for your entire staff. And all of these are separate modules, but today here we are here to talk about the payroll module. The point here being that all of these modules are built on a single technology platform. So your overall experience for your employees, whether they are accessing their payroll or whether they are accessing their compensation management, or whether they are accessing their performance management, or getting to some of their basic goals and performance, etc., they are going to go to a single platform in order to do that. So the user interface is the same, and it's delivered through multiple modus, or multiple ways that it is delivered in, depending on who wants to use what, whether it's desktop, web, or mobile, or voice activated. And then Oracle has also a digital assistant. So for example, an employee can log in and go to a chat window, and the digital assistant can help that employee with a lot of different requests, like how many days do I have left in my leave balance, right? And in my time off, paid time off, how many days do I have left in my paid time off? Or how many hours did I work last week? What was my pay in the last pay stub? All of those digital assistant can help you with. And in addition, also Oracle also has provided a Oracle HR help desk. So there's a single HR help desk through which they can log in and log tickets to the HR organization and get serviced by that. And something that today, for example, people who are using legacy systems are achieving through email, that will be done through a ticketing system. And all of this integrates with Oracle ERP, which is Oracle Financials. And so any data from payroll integrates with the financials, with the general ledger directly. And one thing, I don't have a slide on this, and you can go and Google it and look it up, is that Gartner, which is a third-party organization, analyst research firm, has put both Oracle ERP, which is the financials, as the number one software for financials and ERP for small, medium, and large-sized organizations. And it has also put HR, Oracle HCM Cloud, as in the leaders quadrant. And in fact, it has put it in the top 2 with very little difference being between the 2. And you can actually go and look it up if you actually Google for Gartner Oracle HCM Cloud, and you will get the report. And you can even get a free copy of that report, and you can read it. And another thing about Oracle is it's also highly extensible. So additional things within the customer that needs to be supported, for example, that is not being supported potentially by out of the box, you can extend the solution to do that, and you can extend it in the same framework so that the look and feel and the data model is the same, but you're able to add on additional capabilities and processes into the system. So with that, I'll move on to reviewing what the payroll profile was for NWCC, Northwest Community College. We had about 900 paychecks to be dispersed during the academic session. What this means is that during the academic session, there's people who, there's adjunct faculty who is added on. You can think of them as seasonal employees, and they come on, and so the total was about, give or take, between 900 and 1,000, right? And then there was 200 adjunct faculty. One thing is there was about 60 grant-funded positions, and this is common that we found. This is fairly standard with educational organizations. Positions are funded by grants, and some of the positions are funded by multiple grants. And and we needed to support this as well. And there were about 150 hourly employees, and this is for whom that we are actually implementing a time and labor solution, and the time and labor solution will enable the organization's hourly employees to actually clock in and clock out their time using mobile devices while they are there within the campus, and it will prevent them from being able to clock in and clock out while they are outside the campus using Oracle's geofencing technology. And the need was to support 6 locations. They have 6 campuses. So I talked about the profile. Now, where did we see the complexity? The complexity is none of this is out of the ordinary for any educational organization. So one is, educational organization have a need for balancing the journals by grant, and then also being able to support multiple any position with multiple different grants. And then the third is to be able to support, they were using manually punched paper timesheets for their hourly employees, to be able to, integrate that into Oracle Payroll. And in their legacy system, they were actually taking these timesheets, and they were actually, they had 6 campuses, so there were timesheets from 6 different campuses that were coming in as spreadsheets to the payroll organization. And the payroll organization would go into the legacy system and type the data in, right? And again, we needed to have a solution for this as well. And this is where the time and labor piece comes in with web clock in and clock out. And Oracle Time and Labor integrates with payroll, so the hours that are reported by the mobile devices can integrate with and integrates with payroll. And then the other complexity was they had to have multiple GL accounts for the different salary types. So they have employees who are 9-month employees, 10-month employees, 11-month employees, as well as adjunct faculty who are there during the academic session alone. So none of this is out of the ordinary. The point here being that we were able to support all of these requirements using the built-in design capabilities within Oracle. The first is the multiple grants for a given position. We were able to actually use the multiple assignment functionality within Oracle in order to do that. And same way with the balance journal as well, we were able to factor that in. Likewise, and we were able to push the data accurately to general ledger within the financial module. And in terms of multiple accounts for different salary types, we were able to use the natural accounts and also the flexible costing design within Oracle to be able to support to be able to support this requirement. And as far as the punch card goes, I discussed that. What we did do is we had one of the things that I just want to talk about is we went live with payroll for NWCC in January, and we will be going live shortly with. We actually went live with their. We will be going live shortly with their time and labor as well, very soon. But in the interim time, we are actually using spreadsheets, and instead of the employees having to manually key in the hourly employees' timesheets, we use Oracle's modern capabilities where it integrates with Excel spreadsheets very well and upload the Excel spreadsheet and use that data from the spreadsheets in terms of hourly hours recorded for hourly employees, and integrate that into payroll and be able to cut a time paycheck for them. So we used we used NexInfo's cloud adoption methodology, or NCAM, in order to implement the overall solution. And this is the solution. So we started the project in August, and we actually went live with payroll in January. And so that was a 4-month timeline in which we actually went live with Oracle HCM Cloud. And that was a fairly short duration project for a payroll implementation, as you may be aware, for an organization with about 1,000 employees. And we were able to do that simply because of methodology, NCAM methodology, which is a cloud adoption methodology. The overall, if I look at the overall thrust, right, of the methodology, is to focus on creating value for the customer from day one, right? And the implementation is driven on best practices. So we take the best practices, bring it to the organization, and roll it out. And only in extreme cases, we change from the best practices. And it's not a grounds up. So it's highly templatized, and we have templates in terms of processes and rollout and configuration that we are able to do. And the third is we are also able to demonstrate the solution very early in the cycle. And so the customer gains a very early view into the overall solution and is able to rapidly provide feedback. So I'm going to go to the timeline. So if I look at the timeline, we launched the project on August 22nd, and on 6th January, we actually went live. And in that we had, if I go back to the previous slide, the overall implementation was both iterative and incremental. And we had multiple testing cycles with continuous improvement. So what are the testing cycles we had? First of all, we had design sessions where we prototype the solution for them within their solution with best practices, with their data, with NWCC's data in Oracle Cloud. And we had design sessions so they can see exactly how it works. We were driving the system, NexInfo was driving the system, and Northwest was able to look at it, provide feedback, and visualize how it will actually work, and provide inputs on any refinements that they would like to see. We had 2 end-to-end testing cycles, and then we had 3 parallel payroll runs. So this parallel payroll run is a testing cycle that is unique to payroll implementations, where what we do is we take the entire employee base, and every cycle that the payroll is run, or whenever the payroll is run within the client, in this case NWCC, it was 1,000 employees, and they ran it on their legacy system, and they got the output out. So input and output from the legacy system, right? That's the real data. And we took that same input, and we had already configured the Oracle system, and we ran it through the Oracle payroll system. And we took the output and we compared the output with their legacy system, right? And to see how accurate the data was in terms, to validate the configurations that are being made into the system. And I'll talk about the results from those parallel payroll runs in a moment. And then we had a go live in January. And what going live in January does is it avoids a payroll balance conversion, which means that if you go live in the middle of the calendar year, not the financial year, your financial year can be any time. Payroll only cares about the calendar year, which is what IRS cares about. If you go live in anytime in the middle of the calendar year, then you would have to take the balances from the legacy system and move those into the new system. And, for each employee, there can be hundreds of elements in terms of calculations or numbers, hundreds of numbers within their pay stub calculated and put out there, right? And those balances would need to move into the new system. And not only do you need to move it, you also need to reconcile it with the calculations in the new system. So that's a significantly additional effort for any implementation, any payroll implementation. And in order to avoid that, we went live in January. And one thing that, if you are an organization that is at this point in time considering payroll, or you are actually in the middle of a payroll implementation, you can actually look at going live in January. There is a path to it. I mean, every organization is different, and we can certainly do an assessment for your organization. But there is always a path to going live in January in this timeline. We were able to take Northwest Community College live with 1,000 employees starting in August. And if you start the conversation right now and email us, email NexInfo, or just reach out to any of us, then we can get into that discussion on how we can take you live. Or even if you're engaged with another partner, we can come in and provide you with an expertise in order to take you live in January. And in that, there's 2 things that is important. One is the implementation, and second is change management, right? And both are important. So this was the timeline. We started in August. We had our design sessions in September, and then we had 2 end-to-end testing cycles, one in October and one in November, and then the first parallel payroll run, second and third one in October, November, December, and finally we launched in January. And if you look at the parallel payroll runs, these were progressively improving. The first run, we had about 65% match. What that means is that the output from the Oracle HCM system, Oracle Payroll Cloud, was 65% of the records matched completely with the records from their legacy system, right? So we flushed out any of the design issues from that. And the second run, we had an 85% match with explainable differences. And over there, we had some issues with pre-tax deductions, and that's why there was a mismatch of those 15%. And once we resolved that as well, and what that was is that actually Oracle has the best practice on pre-tax deduction, but then they were doing it differently in the legacy system, which is not necessarily possibly the best way to do it, but they wanted to continue to do it that way. Oracle's design, flexible design, allowed us to reconfigure it in order to support the way that they were doing it. And then we were able to achieve 100% match even in the second run. And then the third one was close to 100% match with explainable differences. And explainable differences are, sometimes it is due to the way manual exemptions are done between the two systems, and scenarios related to garnishment, scenarios related to local taxation, etc. So these were some of the issues that we encountered. No implementation goes without any issues. One is, they were using a local bank, and the local bank did not support the standard NACHA file that was generated for direct deposit. And then we had to work again with Oracle's flexible design. We were able to generate the specific file format that they needed. It needed a little bit of configuration, and we were able to do that. They decided to use Ceridian for their tax filing. So we tested the output from Oracle to Ceridian for tax filing purposes. And then check printing, they had their own specific file format. Every organization has their own specific file format. And again, with our report writers and NexInfo's report writers were able to configure and develop to be able to print exactly how the client wanted us to. Overall, there were significant benefits that NWCC has seen from the implementation of Oracle Payroll Cloud. One of the major ones that I would like to point out to is improved accuracy and lower total cost of ownership. And what that is that, they were maintaining a lot of their tax tables manually, and also the system did not have a end-to-end process support, and because of that, they were making a lot of errors. And with Oracle, the tax table is updated continuously. The moment there's a change in tax law, it comes into the Oracle system. The payroll organization doesn't have to do anything, and it comes through an integration with Vertex, which is the provider for that, and your license to Oracle Payroll Cloud includes the tax integration as well. So you don't have to purchase anything in addition to purchasing Oracle Payroll Cloud. Second is the integration with time and labor. This is something that they will see very soon, where they'll be able to clock in and clock out and stuff with manual punched cards. They will actually be able to do with mobile devices. And then they are able to use mobile devices and web-based access for self-service viewing of pay stubs, etc. And the accelerated go live certainly helped them, minimize costs as well as ensure that they are not actually going through a balance transfer process in the middle of the calendar year. So with that, I just want to open the floor for questions. We're at this point in time. Let me see. Is there any questions?
Yeah, Mohan, it's me. I just wanted to run this by you. It's very impressive. Do you say that people were surprised that we're able to pull the deployment off and go live in such a short period? And like, what would you say the reason the team was able to pull this off? Just share that little experience with us.
Yeah, I think there were a couple of, yes, I think certainly a lot of people were surprised that we were able to pull off this, pull off the go live within about 4 months time in such a short period, and also without any hitches at that point in time. And they've been running payroll ever since. I think there were 2 parties involved in this. Actually, there were 3 parties involved, right? There's Oracle, which has been an extraordinary provider of SaaS solutions and Oracle's HCM Cloud Payroll. That's number 1. Okay. Number 2 is NexInfo's implementation methodology, and also the 24/7 delivery model, where we are able to get a requirement and configure it overnight and make it available. There's people working around the clock in different time zones. They're able to configure it and make it available for viewing by the customer the next day, or testing by the customer, or for a payroll run the next day, right? So that has significantly accelerated it. And the overall NCAM methodology of taking best practices and templates that we use rather than reinventing the wheel at every single client, that accelerated the overall delivery. And the third, and that's an extremely and probably the most important factor, is the client commitment to go live in January. The entire team's commitment, the management's commitment. And without that, I mean, without a client commitment, no matter how good of a solution you have, how hard you work, you won't be able to do it. But that was also very important. Thank you.
Perfect. I have some questions here on our control panel, and I'd like to give a few minutes to our audience to just type in their questions as I start with question here, number 1, Mohan. So the first question that came in is, does Oracle Payroll support US and non-US payrolls?
Yes, Oracle supports US and non-US payrolls. It supports pretty much every geography that you may have, and within US it supports the compliance and tax regulations in every state within the US. So it does both. It does all the geographies worldwide as well as within the US.
Perfect. Another question came in here. Can we implement Oracle Payroll even if we don't use Oracle for benefits and recruitment?
Yeah, that's a good question. And so when we implemented Oracle Payroll at NWCC, the benefits for NWCC is still running on a different system, and the recruiting was still running on a different system. They are going live with recruiting this week within Oracle. But when this was implemented and we went live only with just Oracle Payroll, and of course core HR, which is where employee data is maintained in order to support payroll. It's tightly integrated and coupled with Oracle Payroll. So the answer is yes. You can do it without benefits module or recruiting module. You can go live and then you can look at those modules for a future date.
All right, thanks, Mohan. A few other questions came in here. So next question, did you generate the W-2 for last year from the new system or from the legacy system?
So the W-2 for the last year would require data from last year, and we did not load the data from last year into the Oracle Payroll. And that was the whole idea of going live in January. And so that was left to being generated from the legacy system, and they were able to do that successfully.
Perfect. Another question here. Does Oracle Payroll support both W-2 and 1099 contractors?
Yeah, that's a good question. And so a lot of higher ed has most of their staff is on contract. And a lot of them is that way. They have 9-month contracts, 10-month contracts, 12-month contracts, but of course those are all on W-2. And they also tend to have 1099 contractors as well. So it can support both, and it does support both.
Perfect. Few questions here. Mohan, we have quite a bit of questions today. Next question is,
Yes.
Does Oracle also provide integrations with time clocks to manage time?
Yes, good question. And so there is a module within Oracle called the Oracle Time and Labor module, right? And in that, you can actually, if you're an hourly employee, employees can log in their time, clock in and clock out, and it will produce a time card for you. And you can view that time card, okay? And that time card can be approved by whatever process you choose to establish within the organization, whether it be managerial approval or departmental approval or a coordinator-based approval. Once that is approved, that data can feed into payroll, the hours that they have worked. And same way, even with exempt and non-exempt employees as well. If they have any overtime, they are able to log that into time and labor. And once that is approved, that can also flow into time and labor. And it doesn't require any special integration or anything like that. It's a single data model that works. The both applications are connected into a single data module. All that is needed is the process to be established, and then the data flows into payroll, and then payroll can be run for those employees based on the hours or the number of days that they work. And same goes for absence as well. You can have any specific set of absence model that you have, and Oracle system is very flexible. So based on that, people take time off, sick days off, etc., and that can flow into their overall into their payroll. And the absences can both be reported in their payroll, and if they are taking paid time off, or if they are taking not time without pay, then that can also factor into their pay.
All right. Next question here, Mohan. Can you talk about archiving information data from the legacy system and what that looks like?
So the way Oracle supports is it allows you to bring the data in from the legacy system, and you can actually bring as many years of data that you need based on the specific regulatory requirements and the policies within the organization. And you can load that within Oracle, and you can use that. And if you're going live in January, again, you bringing an entire year's data is a lot easier than bringing partial year's data, because there is no reconciliation that is required. You're just bringing data in and holding it within Oracle and using it to provide information to people. And all of that archived information becomes available to the employees through their self-service, so they can go and use the single system to look at all of their pay stubs from the past. They can use their Oracle Digital Assistant also to access that data from the past.
All right. Next question, we still have time here. For small and medium organization with 500 employees, what is the typical time frame for Oracle Payroll implementation? If college has campus in one county versus 2 or more county/state?
I would say typical implementation timeline. Certainly, we will have to get into specific discussion, but I think a 4-month timeline would be a reasonable timeline for that. Depending on what your specific case may be, it may be could be a few weeks longer, or it could be a few weeks shorter as well.
Got it. Next is, can employees access their payroll information using their mobile devices?
Yes. One of the best parts about Oracle is all of the information is accessible through mobile, web, desktop application, through voice as well. So mobile devices you can certainly access it.
Got it. So for the audience, I'll give another like a minute for some of the questions to be posted. And if you have any other questions that might arise and we can't cover it today, go ahead and email us at letstalk@nexinfo.com. So the last question I'm going to ask here is, does Oracle Payroll Cloud integrate with Fusion Financials for GL accounting?
Yes, certainly it integrates with GL Cloud, with Oracle Fusion Financials. And one of the things at Northwest was also that, and at higher ed institutions is that you also need to balance the GL account by grant number. And Oracle Payroll, with Oracle Payroll's flexible design, we were also able to support that. So all of the payroll data, once it is completed, is pushed to Oracle GL. And in the case of Northwest, what we also did was, since we went live with payroll to start with, we were able to extract that data out and push it to their legacy system. And as of now, we are live with their financials as well. So we are pushing that data from payroll directly to Oracle Fusion Financials, or Oracle ERP Cloud as it's known more recently.
All right, sorry, Mon, just one last question just came in. I just want to address it really quick.
These questions are great.
I know, great questions coming in. Does Oracle HCM have preferred VMS?
Could you repeat that? How do you say that?
Does Oracle HCM have a preferred VMS?
I'm not aware, so I'm going to defer that question to Sriram. Sriram, are you on?
It's vendor management system.
Sorry, say that again.
The question is, does Oracle HCM have a preferred vendor management system, VMS, for contingent workforce management?
I need to get back to you on this.
Okay, we can get back to the question. I will take it one-on-one and we'll get back to you on this specific question. And looks like we are hitting the end of our session, and I want to thank, in closing, I want to thank everyone that participated. It's such a great session and great execution, Mohan. Great job. And again, keep an eye on more of our upcoming webinars. And Mohan, you want to just say thank you and goodbye to everybody?
Yes, I thank you, everyone. I want to thank each and every one of you for taking the time, 1 hour of your valuable time to attend this webinar. Hopefully this was useful for you and gave you a view. And if you have any questions, please feel free to reach out. Let's talk at nexinfo.com, and you have the phone number as well here.
Thanks, everybody, and have a great week, and be safe.